guys, welcome back to the Big Sew Along. I'm Ginny, and as always, I thank you very much for choosing to spend a little time with me. Today, I really have just sort of a short check-in video. I was supposed to be showing you the results of my closet clear out this week, but A, I have more to clear out than I thought I did, so it's gonna take me a minute. And B, I've really spent the last week knitting up a storm, trying to finish up a couple of last minute Christmas gifts. So I haven't got any sewing done, not much anyways. And I started my closet clear out, but I haven't got very far. So that will be hopefully next week. Meanwhile, before we get too far into it, I wanted to say, A, I can see that my hair is even crazier than usual. It's freezing cold out, and so I had a stocking cap on all morning. So excuse that. More importantly, last week I was talking about different books and YouTube channels and blogs and stuff that where I was looking for inspiration for upcycling and refashioning ideas, and a lot of you guys had recommendations that I had never heard of before, and I have since checked out. I have not been disappointed in any of them, but for anybody else who didn't read those messages, I'm going to leave a list of the other blogs, vlogs, and books that you guys recommended last week. I'll leave that in the comments below for anybody who wants to access that. Okay, so let's talk about my cutting table really fast. I know I told you guys last week that for Christmas this year, my husband bought me 2 of these Ikea bookshelves, and I guess they're bookshelves or cabinets. I don't know. I'm gonna call them bookshelves. Anyways, so I have these put together, and the way I'll show you a couple of pictures here, and you hopefully will just excuse the mess on top of my cutting table. All I did was I have 2 of these, and I butted them up back to back next to each other. I took the top off of my old cutting table, which was actually a ping pong table. Because it was a ping pong table, it came screwed into the metal base. So I had to unscrew it, and they probably were like 30 screws holding that tabletop on. But it is actually like a perfect size for my cutting table. So I just took that off of the old legs and I put it on to this table. I just laid it right on top. And then to keep it from sliding around, I couldn't figure out if I needed to put some, screw it through the cabinets or what. I ended up just using these flat metal brackets and placing them on the tabletop right next to the edge of where it would lay against the table. And so that little 1/8 of an inch on each side of my table keeps the tabletop from moving around, which is really awesome. In addition to that, I then went and put my old cutting mat on top, and to keep that from sliding around, I just put, my cutting mat is actually almost exactly the same width as my table, but it's maybe an inch longer than the table. So I put it on, and I just used black, what is that called? It's called Gorilla Tape to tape down the long sides so that my cutting mat doesn't slide around. Now, I could have done that 2 years ago when I moved in here, but I never did. And now that I have this cutting table and I think this is going to work out really well, I decided to go ahead and tape those down to make sure that that doesn't slide around either. The other thing is, my old cutting table was considerably too short for me when I first got it, so I ended up buying those plastic risers for it and lifted it off the ground 5 inches. That made my old cutting table 35 inches high, which hits me pretty much right at my hip bone. So that's still a little bit low. My new cutting table, this one here, I think it's 37 inches high. And so that's actually a really perfect height for me. I can already feel that it's easier on my back because I'm not bending over to reach anything, which is really cool. Now, the only thing is, that means it's also 2 inches closer to my ceiling. I've tried my camera, my overview camera, and it looks like it's gonna be okay, but we'll wait until I actually have to do something on that camera and see if I can still get enough of my table in. I hope I can, because I can't make my ceiling any further away, and this table can't get any shorter. So I guess we'll just have to make do. But that's the one thing that might be an issue. Anyways, as you can see in these pictures, this table also has, each side has 4 drawers, 4 sort of smallish drawers, and 2 cabinet doors. And then it has 4 open spaces where you would normally like use those cube storage or something. Because I have these back to back and they're open, those cubes are open, that's a really good space for me to put in my longer things, like some of my longer rulers and stuff can lay all the way in there. My rolls of paper, stuff like that fit in there really nicely. Super, super happy to have something with drawers and doors on it. It keeps everything nice and tidy. The only thing is, I wish these drawers were actually a little bit longer, but it's IKEA, you get what you get, right? And I think that that's, I'm pretty sure that's all I have to say about my table. I did get, most of my, I used to have like a separate cabinet next to my iron where I would have like my iron cleaner and water and like a press rag and stuff like that. I moved a lot of that stuff into this table, but that's not convenient for my iron. So I have my grandmom's old laundry basket. Actually, it's small for a laundry basket, but I use that and just put it underneath my iron to put the things in that I use all the time. So I have it really convenient, but I don't have a whole cabinet taking up a ton of space. Anyways, this is not like my idea for an IKEA cutting table hack. I saw this online in multiple places. But if you're looking for a new cutting table, you should look into this idea. It was super easy, and if you don't already have like a cutting surface to put on top of it, I think it'd be easy enough to get either an old or a new door in the right size, as long as it's flat and smooth, or even just a piece of plywood that you could then cover with something. So, I mean, if you're going to cover it with a giant cutting mat, it won't make any difference. Anyways, so that's my cutting table, and I'm super, super excited. This is actually the first time I've ever had a cutting table that I can say I absolutely love. I'm super excited about it. Okay, so the next thing, that's the cutting table. The next thing is kind of a combination between color and my closet clean out, because before I started cleaning out my closet, I wanted to read this book here. This is called The Little Book of Color, and it is by Karen Haller. I first heard about this book on a in a video here on YouTube from a channel called Use Less. This woman is from Denmark. And I'm not going to be able to pronounce her name, so I'm not even going to try, but I'll write it up here. Anyways, she is a professional stylist and color, what's it called? Color consultant. And she also used to be a fashion designer, I think. Anyways, I watch her channel pretty frequently. She does a lot of stuff about, as her channel title would indicate, using less just in general. So this popped up in my feed a few weeks ago, and this book sounded really interesting to me, so I bought it. I read the whole thing. Oh, no, I didn't buy it, you guys. I downloaded it on Libro, on the Libro app. So just so you know, you don't actually have to buy this book. If you have the Libro app, you can probably just download it there. I know Faith also, who I've talked about before, she also downloaded this, I think, from Libro. So anyways, it's available if you want to read it. This is really a book more about establishing your color palette, your own personal color palette, based not on the traditional characteristics that people use for that, but more about using your personality. So it doesn't have anything to do with your skin tone, your eye color, your hair color, any of that. It is really personality based. So when I have done traditional color typing before, I usually come up with a palette that looks something like this and is usually referred to as a soft summer. It's not that I don't like any of these colors, but I don't like most of these colors. It's not even that I don't like them, they just don't really resonate with me. However, when I took the little quiz in her book and I did like the exercises and stuff, the color palette I got from that is actually a spring color palette, which looks like this. And this really does resonate with me. This makes me really happy, and that is really the point of her whole book. She does go in a great detail into also using color for your home or office space or other spaces where you might be living with other people who have different color preferences. And I found that really interesting, although to be fair, the most interesting part of this book was the first half, which is really about establishing what your color palette is and what that means and how to go about finding that. She also has like a pretty interesting section on sort of like the history of different colors. Anyways, if you're interested, if you've ever had trouble like figuring out what your quote-unquote colors are, or if you've been given a color palette somewhere along the line that just didn't resonate with you, or if you just feel like having a little fun, definitely check out this book. I felt like it was really well worthwhile. It's not a long book, and it's a super fast read. And like I said, I think you can get it on the Libra app, but even if you don't, it's not an expensive book either. So, what else was I gonna say? Okay, so that leads me to the closet clear out. I did start going through my closet, and I got through most of my hanging garments, and the first thing I did was just pulled out everything. I sorted them out based on like the Refashion Wardrobe says. I sorted them out, and I essentially picked two piles: the stuff that I love and the stuff that I don't love. And then after I did that, I went back and I pulled out any of the colors that I still had in my wardrobe that really don't resonate with me. Colors that I really don't enjoy, or that I really sort of dislike. Even if it's something that I wear. Then I'm going to separate that pile into things that have to go and things that I'm going to remake into other things one way or another. I haven't got that far yet. So I haven't got that far yet, and I haven't got to my folded clothing yet. So hopefully I will be able to get to that stuff this week, and then next week I want to actually show you the things that I got rid of. And as long as it's not too many, I'll go over the things I got rid of, and maybe go over some of the reasons why I feel like they didn't really work for me. Okay, like I said, don't have any sewing for you this week. I do have, what are these called? I should look this up first. I do have one pair of underpants. These are the Dana underpants from Seamwork mag, and I haven't had a Seamwork membership for years, but I did start my Seamwork membership as soon as she started that, so and that's probably when I got this pattern, which was ages and ages ago. Anyways, the reason that I made these is because I have this, which is a huge stack of old t-shirts. They're not even old. I have a huge stack of t-shirts. My husband goes to a lot of events for work, and it seems to me like at least twice a month he comes home from one of these events with yet another t-shirt. My husband doesn't really wear these t-shirts that often. The fact is he wears a suit almost every day of the week, and he has like 2 or 3 favorite t-shirts that he wears on the weekends. Sometimes I just use these for rags. Sometimes, in the past, I have just given them to the Salvation Army or other donation places. However, a lot of times when you have a t-shirt like this, I mean, it's a work t-shirt. So, like, I just don't feel like a lot of people are going to be interested in buying that. But they do have, like, I do have, like, really cool colors. I have a lot of black, but I have some other cool colors. I have this cobalt blue. I have this light blue. I think I have purple, and another green. Anyways, I have a lot. So my idea was to come up with a bralette and underpants pattern that I like and that fits me, and just to like get it to a point where it's comfortable and I will actually really wear it. And then whenever I get one of these t-shirts, I could like whip one of these up and I wouldn't feel like I was just getting rid of another t-shirt. I do have other ideas for upcycling some t-shirts, but like I said, I have a lot of them because my husband gets these pretty frequently. Anyways, okay, so that is really it for me this week. Like I said, hopefully next week I'll have some clean out stuff to show you, and until then, I wish you all happy sewing.